Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
What's up, YouTube? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Race to 100. I'm Neil Batang.
I'm Rick Storcell, and we are on episode number 44.
44.
So I guess before we begin, just a disclaimer that this is not an easy conversation to have, and it may be charged in one way or another. So just a quick heads up. So continue.
Today we are going to talk about we're going to touch base briefly upon the unfortunate events that happened in Orlando recently with the whole mass shooting. However, not necessarily this mass shooting, but the reactions of others, religious leaders, to the mass shooting. Just recently, a pastor in Sacramento, California, with the last name of Jimenez, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on his first name, praised the attacks on the 50 murders. To contextualize what happened, he pretty much said that they had it coming. He called them pedophiles,
And we'll play
abominations to society, and pretty much he doesn't feel bad that 50 lives were taken at a gay club in Orlando, Florida.
And so here's a quick clip of what exactly he said for context.
We shouldn't be sitting there and say like, whoa, that's a tragedy, or whoa, that's a bad thing, or we're upset, or we're mourning, or we're, something needs to be done about this. As Christians, we shouldn't be mourning the death of these 50 sodomites. You say, well, why is that? Here's why that is. Because the Bible teaches that these sodomites are every single one of them, a predator. See, the Bible, when the Bible paints this picture of these sodomites being predators. And by the way, let me say this, every sodomite's a pedophile. Amen. Every single one, it's an unnatural sin. It's unnatural to want to be with someone of the same sex, and it's unnatural to want to take advantage of a child. Today, people say like, well, aren't you sad that 50 sodomites died? Here's the problem with that. It's like the equivalent of asking me, what if you asked me, hey, are you sad that 50 pedophiles were killed today? No, I think that's great.
So yeah, it's a little disturbing watching something like that happen.
A little disturbing. Oh my goodness.
I mean, regardless of your race, creed, religion, or sexual orientation.
What are we back in 2000?
This isn't something that we can support or get behind. So I guess, Rick, I want to ask you, what was your initial reaction as a former pastor, mind you, seeing another pastor, a guy who spreads the word of God and teaches the word to followers, expressing his beliefs regarding this tragedy?
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason why I'd gotten into ministry in the first place was to combat that sort of attitude within a lot of conservative evangelical circles. And again, I said, what are we back in 2000? Because a decade and a half ago, this sentiment was not uncommon. A lot of conservatives had this view that gays are pedophiles, that the gay community deserves to die, that God's wrath will come down on them. And you see two tracks right now. And on one hand, I'm really heartened that mainstream media, even Fox News, has embraced the humanity of the gay community. On the other hand, you look on social media and it's a very different world. I mean, even the most popular YouTube videos from this Orlando shooting were all very positive, sending prayers and love for the victims of that shooting. And yet, you have this YouTube video that was posted, you have comments on Facebook, which you were showing me some before we taped.
Yeah.
And
like, people are like, sorry to cut you off, Riggs, but it's absolutely absurd to believe that people are rationalizing this event by saying, well, if they wouldn't have been homosexuals or at a gay club, this wouldn't have happened. First of all, I know the names of all the victims that were killed, recently dropped into the news, so it's now been released as public information. You or I can access that at our discretion. Exactly. But my issue with that is that, I mean, straight people go into gay clubs as well. Like, okay, like maybe like not. I don't like just because 50 people died at a gay club, that doesn't mean that every single person who passed away was necessarily a homosexual. And the fact that we were saying or assuming that, hey, you were in a gay club, you must have been gay, so you deserve to die, is just absolutely ignorant on our end, and it's completely I want to say ass backwards, but YouTube might have a problem with saying that.
I don't think so. Actually,
That's the first word that came to my mind. Like, but it is ass backwards for us to, like, you know what I'm saying, kind of rationalize these types of events as such.
And it's fundamentally antithetical to what Christianity is all about. And people can try and rationalize these coarse, hateful beliefs all that they want, but it's, I mean, really, is that the best that you've got? I mean, you can spew hate all you want, but how in the world is that doing any sort of justice or service to this loving God who has created us all in God's image?
That's true.
It's just sad to see that there are still people who have those public platforms, and I think that there are parts of the country that are slow to adapt to the reality that people have humanity, regardless of who you are. We should love and respect one another.
Exactly, and you can. And let me tell you something. Rick. You can disagree with any lifestyle. You know, there are people who disagree with the homosexual lifestyle. There are people who disagree with the heterosexual lifestyle. There are people who disagree with interracial relationships, as we discussed in our last relationship. You know, there are people who disagree with all types of things, and that's totally fine. You are entitled to your beliefs as a human being. However, it is not on you to violently determine how another person who is completely removed from you or connected to you in any way should live their life.
Yes.
And that's all I think. You don't have to agree or disagree with me, but you can't tell me how to live my life and stick a gun in my face and try to rationalize it afterward. For me, that's just completely wrong, and we don't stand for that here at straight up /race100 /VNR Media.
Yeah, I mean, hate is a powerful motivator, and it's incumbent upon individuals like us, other people.
I like that. It's incumbent upon. I like that a lot.
It's incumbent upon every one of us who does believe that dignity of our human existence is first and foremost, because hate is the opposite of what God stands for. That is what I fundamentally believe. And whether or not you believe in God or are an atheist or whatever the case may be, you know, love is a very powerful tool.
Okay.
But
Well said.
You know.
So yeah, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe to our YouTube channel for more episodes to Race to 100, and feel free to drop a comment, guys. Let us know what you think about this crazy pastor in Sacramento sentiment regarding the Orlando shooting. We love to hear more about it from you guys. This wouldn't be possible without y'all. So yeah, that's all I've got. Rick, you wanna add something, man?
we will catch you next time on the Race to 100.